Okay, so now I'm gonna pre-spray. I'm gonna do half the room at a time, and we'll see how it looks. But I'm gonna angle this down real quick so we can hopefully have a better view. And this won't be perfect because you can only see so much, and I don't have a GoPro or anything. So when you're pre-spraying, or if you're doing spot treatments, a lot of people will have the idea that more chemical is better, and that's not true. If anything, you would get more benefit out of additional agitation, or more heat, or more passes with the wand. If you do an area, like if I do this room and this stain is still here, then the answer is not to just, hose the heck out of it with the pre-spray, because this is for general soil. If the stain is still there, then the answer is to come back with the specific chemicals for spots. Also, or if there are carpets that get so dirty they need to be extracted twice, but it doesn't do any good to just hose the heck out of it with pre-spray, and then because you're just wasting chemical at that point. So double the recommended amount is not twice as effective or anything like that. So if you're doing recovery work where something is just like incredibly soiled, there's nothing wrong with doing it once, extracting it, agitating it, extracting it, and then reapplying another coat of pre-spray, agitating it again, and extracting it again. So. Okay, so there's so many variables with this. It's going to depend on what kind of sprayer you have. Unfortunately, this sprayer doesn't come with a flat sprayer. That's kind of ideal. This one comes out in a cone-shaped spray. I like to do the flat sprayer, and I'll start in a corner and just do even passes. Like if you've ever used a spray gun on a car, or a house, or anything like that, you would do it the same way. With the cone, you just have to be aware that you're overlapping a lot more than you would be with a flat head. So, okay. So I just I move the head around pretty fast with this one because it's coming out in a cone shape, and that just kind of disperses it. And you just kind of watch where everything's going. Okay, and I wouldn't want to get it any wetter than that. And I get the temptation to sit here and go, but I'm gonna resist that because I know better. So, okay. So I'm unplugging one of my extractor cords for a minute because I don't have an additional extension cord with me right now. But the water's not going to cool down in the amount of time that it takes me to agitate this. So I'm going to just, because I want to see how much of a difference it's going to make and I want you all to see this, I'm going to start with agitating the big spot here, and just we'll see what it looks like. So on this strong machine, by the way, if you have one to put together, or if you've seen it but you haven't used it yet, so you'll notice that this side has a thin gray stripe, this side is wider. The motor is on this side. That also means that the brushes get closer to this side of the machine. So if you're going along a wall, you would want that side to be along the wall. So you're always going to hug the right side of the room or the hallway. When you're behind the machine, there's a switch, a little foot trigger on the left-hand side. You depress that, and then once you pull the handle back, it turns on. When you're done, you just bring the handle back up and it shuts off. And when it's running, it floats on the brushes, but I wouldn't want to leave it like this for a long time. see a big difference there already, although I didn't notice it until I started going over it with the machine. But this over here is pretty crusty. So I'm gonna have to put down the gel solvent that we did on the other spot video for that, I'm sure. I can tell. But I'm gonna go ahead and proceed and we'll come back to that later. So I'm gonna finish agitating here along the edge of the wall. too. And what you'll get with this machine is hair and just crud that comes out of the carpet fibers and it gets caught on this bar here. So, and I did clean this machine after the last time I used it, so this is all coming out of this carpet. So some of the, it's kind of surprising sometimes what you get. I was doing one once where, I had scooped all that junk off of there and kind of squeezed it, and it kind of looked like a dead rat. And I was still working in the room and I left it sitting on a linoleum floor. My executive director came in and saw it and thought it was a dead rat. I don't necessarily regret that. So, and then it is good to kind of clean that off once in a while you're working so that you're not depositing little clumps of hair all over the place. The other place to get in is on the other side of the brush. You just kind of get your finger up there and you'll get, some stuff off. I'll pick that up off the carpet in a minute. So, you can turn those brushes by hand to get stuff out that way. do a video on how to get the brushes out and clean and all that. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of, excuse me, there is going to be a lot of additional spot work on this carpet, I can tell. Some of it might not show up on camera, but I see a lot of red little spots here and there. And I know that those aren't going to come out when I run the extractor over it. It's going to have to be dealt with the particular chemical we use for getting red juices and dyes out. And this is going to need the gel solvent for sure. So I'm going to stop and get some, and I still have to wait a little while for this to dwell. So I'll be back.